Alright, I've made a video in a hot minute, though this is going to be one of those videos where you don't see my face. Yeah, I know, really weird. I might do it on the second one. Do leave down in the comments below if you actually would like to see my face, or if you even care about that in the next one. Or would you just like more videos like this where I play a video in the background and I'm just talking over it and you might just see occasional stuff over it, even though it's not even occasional, you will. But either way, thank you all so from the title of the video, but welcome. This is the Arcane Odyssey stat build tier list. A few stat builds, I'm going to be ranking them from meta, powerful, good, decent, and requires skill, because technically there isn't any bad builds. But in the future, if you guys actually want me to use tier list maker instead of doing it like this, then do leave a comment down below for that as well, because I'll be taking any ideas. I'm just going to point this out. This is all opinions, of course, right? I played Arcane Odyssey for quite a while. I finished all 3 slots and I got 3 more on the way. And I got quite a bit of experience and I've seen what each stat build can do, and I've tried quite a few of them. Heck, I've tried every single thing. I've tried what fighting styles do, swords, and magic. Alright, let's begin. So, let's start with the first, and we're gonna go from meta to worst, alright? And not to worst. Once again, technically the builds aren't bad. You can go with whatever you want. You can probably rock them and absolutely be a beast with them, right? But let's start with the meta. So meta. What is the meta builds? Well, I think everyone probably knows this by now, and if you don't, what have you been doing? Seriously. The top thing, best thing in the game right now, mage. Yeah, you heard me right. This guy right here, this mage, little icon that you're probably seeing in the front of the screen. Yeah, best thing in the game. They have stupidly high damage. They still move the same speed as every other build, so it's not as if you're gonna screw yourself over in anything. They have the whole magic synergy system right now, which is absolutely stupid when comboed with a few magics. Like, one of the most common ones I'm seeing is stupid stun builds or high damage, stupid knockback. You can do it. You can do a lot with the mage. Sure, you lose access to like some really good armors in the future, or maybe some weapons right now, but I'm quite sure you'll be good with mage, especially with like the very powerful spells they have. And if you go with a full mage stat, like you put all your stats into magic and you get access to ultimate arts, like the ultimate art for explosion, that thing is stupidly busted, right? I can go on all day on how OP mage is. Mage right now is just way too overpowered. The other builds might get something in the future, but as of right now, mage is the best. Without wasting any time, we're gonna go straight to the second one. Second best thing in the meta, conjurer. Also something else people saw coming. Heck, I think every single mage thing in this game is way too OP. I don't know why. I think magic in general is just broken. But conjure, yeah, conjure is the second best thing in the game, and I've seen firsthand how scary they are. So not only do they still have really high damage from mage, sure they lose a bit of access into like ultimate arts and some shapes later on, but they're still good. They're still good, really good. Especially considering when their sword attacks are currently really strong. And conjures with good weapons and good magic, very scary. And I would go into more of the reasonings if you guys do want me to. So I'll just name a few. Mage currently just has a lot of damage output, and being able to do with the synergies and shapes, everything that has access to, especially with the variety of spells, and then including the pulse spell right now, which is one of the most stupidest things. I hate it so much in PvP. It just does so much damage for no reason. Especially what you can do with the armors and just make it absolutely scary. Like, you can make mean builds to high damage, which that also includes conjure in this. Now, moving on to the next, we got the powerful ranking. There are powerful builds that didn't make it into the meta, but are still really strong in their own right. So the first one we got is warrior. Yeah, this is a little debatable for a few people, but honestly, when you look at warrior and how stupidly powerful they are right now with all the different weapons and blade abilities that they got, they can deal a lot of damage. And it's not as if they sacrifice too much HP. They can still have a good amount of it while also dealing a lot of damage. They're really damn scary. So trust me, right now weapons are still very good, which is kind of why warrior made it this high, just because of how OP weapons are. Second one, this one was really debatable. My friend was arguing with me from that. This one's paladin. Now, hear me out. Why is paladin powerful? Well, not only do they have a really high HP, and I'm talking about a lot of HP, and not like a stupid amount like something like warden in the future, but I'm talking about like really good balanced while still having good magic damage. And they get access to second magic like mages, which honestly I didn't see that coming. I didn't expect paladins to have that. But yeah, Paladins still having access to second magic allows them to have the magic synergy that where you can combo 2 different magics at once and pretty much just make stupid things with it. Yeah, Paladin is still up there. Though Paladins right now, it will be higher later. Once spear weapons get added, and this includes every other vitality build by the way, once spear weapons get added, they will be much higher. And I will guarantee you, and I'm calling it right now, Paladins will become the meta. They will be up in the meta once spear weapons come out, depending on how OP they become. And then the third one, the most powerful category, is the Knights. Yeah, Knights. This is the final one by the way in this category. I'm gonna explain the rest afterwards, but yeah, Knight is just like a slightly underpowered warrior because they have less damage but they have bigger attacks. So they lose out on the damage, they get tankier, have bigger AoE. So they're really good, really powerful, and arguably better than a warlord right now. Because warlords are good, but not the best. But speaking of which, let's move on to the next one, the good category. These are set builds that didn't make it into the really powerful ones you don't see very often, but are still up there. And that is the Warlord is up in the first. And once again, weapon builds are just really overpowered like weapons right now, and Warlords have access to weapons that no other stat build has. But currently those weapons, General Argus weapons by the way, are kind of bad. This is coming from a Warlord player myself. I've tried Warlord and I've seen the weapons, but the abilities that it has made no sense to me. They do such low damage in comparison to others. Otherwise, Warlord is still really good because I still dealt a lot of damage to Warlord. It deals really good damage. It's just the current weapons it has access to kind of lowers it down. It didn't make it as good and didn't make it as high. It kind of sucks because Warlord. And the last one in the good category, yeah, I know, last one, Warlock. Yeah, so Warlock right now is another one of those magic ones, and it's funny how they didn't make it very high on this list despite being good with magic, and that's because of fighting styles. Right now, fighting styles are weirdly weak. Like, when you compare them to weapons and magic, they're not really that strong. Their abilities are so limiting. They need a little more, especially in my opinion, I expect in the future for them to make fighting styles have their own special attacks, like maybe Cannon Fist having like a cannonball rain from the sky, like cannonball rain, or something like Garp's big chain ball. Like that would be really cool for Cannon Fist. Or maybe have something like Iron Leg be Sanji's big AoE attacks that includes leg swiping abilities and stuff like that. And I think you get it. Just other fighting styles have in general. I actually have a few more ideas for other fighting styles, but this isn't that type of video. And moving on to the decent category. So this one is actually very controversial. A lot of people are not gonna like this, but I actually have a really good reason for this, and this is Savant. Yeah, I know Savant didn't make it very high on this list, and that is because right now Savant feels weird. It's like oddly weak, and that's technically because Savant is a jack of all trades. You can become whatever you want, but you'll never be absolutely good at everything. Though it is one of the better classes, and it actually could make it up to the good or even powerful category, considering they still have extremely good synergies they can take advantage of. They have the ability to choose second fighting style or second magic, so you can just run whatever you want while still having good stat builds and having every single thing all at once. It's just, with the current level cap and lose access to like the more powerful abilities in every kit that involves the one tricks, aka sword, mage, or fighting style, Savant feels weak. In the future, it might actually get stronger. Heck, it might even get some privileges, like getting certain access to abilities that only Savants can use. But as of right now, Savant is feeling a little down. Anybody who becomes a Savant, you have my respect, because really fun class to use. And then the final one, the decent category, is Berserker. Yeah, once again, the whole fighting style issue, that they feel weak, they feel weird to use. It just sucks. Heck, I've actually had a friend become a Berserker before, and he was having the hardest time of his life. Heck, I can actually probably go in the require skill category because it really requires a lot of skill to become a Berserker. If you become a Berserker and you make it to the end of the game, like, I'll be applauding for you, because holy, Berserker and fighting styles right now being pretty bad. Like, they do a lot of damage, don't get me wrong. There's just, the abilities themselves kind of suck. And then the required skill category. This one, Juggernaut. Yeah, if you're going to become, once again, fighting styles are already pretty bad. So since fighting styles are currently not the best, You're literally sacrificing getting the good abilities from fighting styles and throwing half of that into HP. So then you become this tanky fighting style user who has access to practically nothing good in fighting styles. So you're just gonna screw yourself over. Don't become a juggernaut. And then finally a warden. So why does warden in here when technically can't do anything? Because if you become a warden, it's gonna require some skill to make it to the end of the game. It's gonna require some skill to beat the first boss, because I have no clue how the hell you're gonna do that. Warden can do nothing right now since spirit weapons are in the game, making it the most useless thing. Warranted, this one probably can go in its own category of useless. But as for a quick recap, that's the quick things. Meta, we got the best things in the game, that's Mage, Conjurer. Both of them have stupid damage outputs, good access to abilities, and magic is just really good at the moment. Powerful, we got Warrior. Warriors, just once again, weapons are just really damn good at the moment, making them very annoying to fight against in PvP and or PvE. PvE just they have good access to like weapons and abilities, making them really good in general. So warriors are just good. Paladins are just really good. Once again, having access to 2 magics kind of is the only reason it got boosted up here, because if we got something else, something like Knight, as of now, Paladin is just like a watered down, weaker version of Mage. It's just a little tankier. Knight, once again, it's just like the same deal with Paladin. Knight is just a weaker version of Warrior, but still nonetheless really powerful. Both of them, Paladin and Knight, despite being vitality builds. And then once spirit weapons comes out, they'll probably be boosted up in here. Good category. Warlord, Warlock, both of them really powerful. They can be used really well depending on situations. It's just with what they have access to right now, it kind of screws them over, especially Warlord. Their weapons just suck. And Warlock, they need more abilities and fighting styles in the future for them to actually be really good. Because imbuing definitely sounds like a really good idea. Like taking goddamn Thermal Fist and just imbuing it with some really good magic. And the decent Savant right now just isn't the best, but it is a really fun jack of all trades. Berserker, fighting styles just are not good right now. You can become a Berserker if you don't want. I'm not saying not to, because technically every single thing on this list could be moved around wherever, since every single one in PvP and PvE, if you're really good with it, you'll still progress, right? It's not as if you're gonna be stuck. It's just the ratings on these lists will help you progress faster or have an easier time in PvP or PvE, and then require skill, Juggernaut, Warden, because why the heck would you become either one of those? Without spirit weapons, they kinda are bad, especially since fighting styles aren't the best and Warden is literally useless. But this was a really fun thing to do. Me and my friend had a really long conversation, and I thought, hey, this would actually be a really good YouTube video since him and me are both pros. We played enough of this game to understand quite a lot of it. We're not absolute pros, especially since we're getting back into the game. So I thought I'd make this for others who struggle like me and was wondering what builds to go in when you start the game. So yeah, and once again, this big disclaimer, this is all opinions. This isn't like an official thing, right? So you don't have to trust me on this. If you want to become a goddamn Warlock or Warlord despite being in the good, by all means, choose whatever is fun. I have a Warlord and they're not even meta. Why? Because being a Warlord is just damn fun. So if you find it fun, don't be discouraged. Choose whatever you'd like. But if you're gonna go up against PvP against a mage, you're gonna get absolutely rolled. But alright. Hope you all enjoyed watching this YouTube video. This is the first time I ever decided to do a tier list thing. If you guys find this content entertaining or would like some more and me rating for your other stuff, do comment that down below. This is the 4th thing I've sent for you guys to comment. Alright, well, I'm out of here, guys. It was a good one. And see you on the next one. Bye-bye. There's some music playing in the background for myself. So real quick, guys, right before I end the video, I kind of want to say something real quick. And yes, hello, I'm on the camera now. Okay, well, I didn't mean confirm, I meant justify their places in the... Wanted to justify why they're placed and where and why real quick. I felt like I didn't actually put a lot of info or didn't say enough info at the time I made the video. So I'm just going to go back through it real quick. And yeah, so reasoning, Mage and Conjurer, why are they both meta? Right now, Magic is stupidly busted at the moment at the current part of the game. Maybe later on, other things like weapons, bows, or anything that's weapon related or fighting style related might actually be a lot better later. But at the moment, Magic just reigns supreme, which is why they're currently both meta, especially Mage. Mage has access to Pulse, and Pulse is just stupidly broken. This is coming from a Mage guy myself. Conjure's another one. Right now, Conjure has access to both one OP magic and at least really good skills, making them just really powerful right now. Then Warrior, Paladin, Knight in the powerful category. I'm not going to say much into them, just warrior. Once again, weapons are really good. They can also make some really good builds, making them really scary. Paladin is just a watered down mage. Literally, they do what mage does, but a little worse. They're just tankier. But literally, they have 2 magics, pretty good magic damage, and of course the HP. Same thing goes to Knight. Knight is just the warrior, but less damage, bigger AoE, and more HP. Warlord, the only reason Warlord is this low is because of the current weapons. They kind of suck, but imbuing fighting styles into weapons is actually still really good, because you can actually do some pretty OP stuff with it. So Warlord, don't underestimate it, really good. Might actually go up later. Warlock, same thing. Warlock, same thing. Magic is really good. Warlock has some really good builds and actually arguably one of the highest damage stat builds in the game. The only reason it's pretty low is because the abilities themselves kind of suck. Because once again, I already said throughout this video quite a lot, fighting styles are kind of mid. Decent Savant Berserker. Why Savant this low is literally arguably, at the moment, a lot of people who played know the Savant is one of the worst in the game. Heck, people would even argue it is the worst. But it is a pretty fun class. It's just right now, due to stats being a little low since max level is like 125, Savant is not good. And Berserker, you never want to be a full fighting style guy. Trust me, fighting styles are just not good right now. And Juggernaut Warden. Juggernaut is literally a worse version of Berserker. You do way less damage, and fighting styles by themselves are already pretty bad. So trust me, you're not going to like it. And Warden, unless you were one of those people who bugged it before with the whole Awakening. Yeah, you can't even get Warden, but even if you did, Warden is useless because it has absolutely no way to be offensive in any way. You literally awaken into Warden and you lose. You'd only be able to use spirit weapons. You can't even use fighting styles, magic, or weapons. So like, trust me, Warden, you can't even use it. And before I leave, this is going to be the little quick bonus section. This is going to be the quick tier list part where I'm going to make what I think future meta is going to be like in the end game. And right now, first place, I still think Mage would be the best thing in the game still, because Mage just overall has so many good things. They probably will add stuff later boosting all the other things, but right now, meta is going to be Mage in the end game. Mage is still going to be meta. Conjure most likely would still be meta, depending on what type of weapons they add. Paladin, 100% going to be up there in meta. Warden is going to be up there in meta, because spirit weapons, the whole idea of them is really good. Savant most likely will be a meta, just because of how they did their abilities and what they can do with all the big builds in the end game. And finally, in the final part of the meta, Warrior. Yeah, Warrior. I was actually going to say Knight, but I don't feel like Knight will end up being meta, since Knight is just a tankier high OE version. But yeah, as for all the other classes, I feel like they're all going to be in the powerful category in the end game. Like, none of them are going to be bad. It's just some will be meta, but the rest will be good, and if you have enough skill, they're going to be OP as hell anyways. So either way, hope you all enjoy watching today's YouTube video. I ended up making this video a little longer than I wanted, just for a simple tier list. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Can't forget about that part. And if you guys do enjoy this type of video and like to see more stuff where I cover some things on like Arcane Odyssey or anything else in general, really, just let me know in the comments. This is probably the 5th time I said this. I think I kept track of this. Yeah, I think this is the 5th time. Well, either way, guys, see you on the next one. Goodbye.